So welcome back to the Creativity Series, and today 5 of part 1. Now, today and over the next few days, I'm going to be saying less and less during the exercise itself. So now you've got an idea for how this works. Hopefully you'll need less guidance during the exercise. Now that will mean that you'll need to dictate the speed a little bit more. And the easiest way to do that is to really sort of settle in right at the very beginning of the exercise to a steady flow. Now, when these instructions were originally translated, the English translation was something like kind of a steady flow of nectar. Now, nectar, I guess, implies a sense of, I don't know, maybe something like honey, but it flows. You know, it has that quality of movement. It's perhaps a little bit thinner than honey. It's sort of, but not as thin as water, if that makes sense. So there is a very steady flowing sensation. The more you can be with that feeling, I think, the easier you'll find it to maintain a nice steady speed as that sunlight fills the body up and moves towards the top of the head. So just something to bear in mind as you go about the exercise today. But take a moment to begin with, just to get comfortable. Eyes open, remember that peripheral vision, taking in both the sides, also above, below, and that entire space in front of you. And when you're ready, just a couple of nice big deep breaths. And with the next out breath, just gently closing the eyes as you feel the weight of the body pressing down against the chair beneath you. And just take a minute or so to become more aware of the other physical senses and the environment in which you're sat right now. And then just bringing the attention back to the body, starting to become more aware of how the body actually feels right now. And then slowly scanning down through the body, remembering not just to focus on the areas that feel uncomfortable or out of place in some way, but also to notice those parts of the body that already feel quite comfortable, at ease and relaxed in some way. As you become more aware of those physical sensations, perhaps becoming a little bit more aware of the emotional quality of mind at the same time. Just pausing momentarily just to be clear about your intention, your motivation for the exercise today. Remember that idea of beginner's mind. It's as though it's the very first time you've sat to do the exercise. Not just doing it out of habit, but really being clear about why you're actually taking the time to do this exercise. Recognizing how it can benefit the people around you, the people you care about, the people you know, perhaps the people you've never even met before. But through the contact you have with them on a daily basis, however small that might be, just noticing how that ripple effect can start to affect the space around you, the people around you. And before you turn your attention to the breath, just one last reminder that there's nothing to do, nothing to achieve, and nothing to create. So with that, just starting to notice the rising and falling sensation in the body, noticing where in the body you feel it. Just still aware of that rising and falling sensation of the breath. Just shift your attention now to that steady flow of sunlight coming from above your head, flowing down into the body, down the left-hand side of the body, down the left leg, and just watching now as the different parts of the toes, the foot, and the leg fill up with that warm, spacious feeling, sensation. Remember, as you move up towards the hip and the pelvic area, the attention shifts. You remember from where that sunlight's flowing from above the head down into the body, and the right hand side, the right leg, all the way to the bottom, as you just follow that flow. All the way up to the leg and up towards the waist. So everything from the waist downwards now just very clear, very bright, very light. It continues to flow, now filling up the trunk of the body, and melting away any tension, any discomfort. As you feel it move up through the stomach, through the lower back, middle of the back, so it happens on its own, just watching as the body fills up, as it flows down the left arm and into the left hand. In the usual way, just one finger at a time. You watch it fill the hand and all the way up through the arm. And the same on the right side. Going down the arm to the hand. And just watching as the body is slowly filled up. Continues to flow up through the neck and the throat. All the way up to the top of the head. Remembering to pass through all those different muscles until it feels as though the entire body is just overflowing with that feeling, that sensation, and that appearance. And when you get to that point, you just allow the mind to rest in that space, still aware of the breath, even counting the breath if you find it useful or helpful, but most importantly, just familiarizing yourself with that feeling of spaciousness, which is the foundation for all creativity. And now just letting go of that feeling, letting go of any focus on the breath, and just letting the mind wander. And then just gently bring the attention back to the body, back to the physical weight, the contact, body in the chair or the body in the floor, wherever it is you're sitting. Starting to become more aware of the other physical senses. And in your own time, when you're ready, you can just gently open the eyes again. Clear in how you're feeling, both in body and mind. And also clear about that intention to be aware throughout the day today. But for now, you can just sit back in the chair. So we've now gone through about half of part one, and hopefully this really is starting to feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more familiar now. And of course, the more familiar it feels during this formal part of the practice, the easier it is to then integrate throughout the day. So you can even sort of speed this exercise up a little bit. If you find yourself with just 1 or 2 minutes, maybe a couple of times a day, you can just sit down and imagine that same feeling of sunlight streaming in through the top of the head and just dissolving any tension, any discomfort in the body. It's important to say that we're not trying to necessarily change or get rid of any thoughts and feelings. It's just noticing what happens when you visualize in this way. You'll find that very often those other things are let go of. But that's not our intention. That's not our motivation. Our motivation is simply to increase our awareness, our focus, by visualizing this technique and just seeing what happens in the process.